recording is for pragmatics and semantics, or semantics, pragmatics. In this video, I'm going to be talking about deixis, and what I'm going to do here is only laying down the basics of deixis, because the details later will be in the material that we'll be studying or you will be reading yourself. Deixis talks about or refer to linguistics aspects, expressions, or words and phrases that in understanding them we have to rely on the context. We cannot fully understand them without the context of these expressions. So generally there are three kinds of deixis, which is personal deixis, spatial deixis, and then also the last one is temporal deixis. So we start with number one. Number one is personal deixis. For this kind of deixis, it refers to people. Okay, well, when we mention people, especially the proper name John Donne, for example, well, this expression refers to one fixed referent. But then if we talk about personal pronouns, they are used differently in sentences or when communicating with other people, because words like she, he, and they, or even I are different. Well, she always refers to female, for example, or for women or girl, but and then that's the semantic meaning, but the contextual meaning is always different, because she can refer to any female in the context available in our conversation. So in order to understand what the word she refers to, you have to look at the context. When I say she loves me, you will be able to identify what she refers to only by looking at the context. And I like them. Well, them or they always refers to the same semantic meaning, but in this context of sentence, you will have to look at the context in order to identify the real meaning of them. So that's the idea about personal deixis. So deixis that refers to people. Number two, which is about spatial deixis. This deixis refers to places. But and then not places like personal or proper names like Jakarta, because when you say Jakarta, for example, or Tokyo, they have fixed meanings. But when you say there or here, even when say here is always in the place where we live, but when we apply this in particular sentence, people will not be able to identify. For example, when you say, well, I put this here, if people only hear you and do not look at you, the way you point what you mean by here, they will not be able to understand you. So in order for the people or the hearers understand what you mean by I put it here, they will have to look at the context, they will have to look at the situation, and even maybe the time too should be included in understanding this one. So the same case applies for there. Yeah. The many other examples that refers to places like this in which we have to understand the context. That's number two. Then number three, which is temporal deixis. Temporal deixis refers to time. Okay. If you look at the words like tomorrow and yesterday, well, semantically, tomorrow always means the day after every day. We can say it like that because every day after every day can be tomorrow, or yesterday is always the day before today, or before every day. We say that. That's the meaning. But this tomorrow can be any day, right? For example, today is Thursday. So when I say tomorrow I'll come to your house, tomorrow will mean Friday. But if I say this tomorrow, if I say this on Friday, so tomorrow will mean Saturday. So it means that in order for us to understand the words like tomorrow and yesterday, which are temporal deixis, we have to include, or we have to understand the situation and the time and some particular aspects like what day the sentence was uttered, or the sentence was made by the speaker. We can also look at words like now and then. Well, now always means at the present, okay? And then always means in the past, at particular time in the past. But then we also have to look at what do you mean by now, because now can be any day. So we have to look at what day is today, what time is it, and where we are, okay? In order to understand what now refers to, what kind of time, which period of time now refers to. It's like that. And then we look at then. Well, I mentioned earlier that then always means at that time. But you know, like when we use this in sentence, we refer to particular time that we have already implied before. Like, well, I came to Jakarta 2 years ago. I was still a student then. Okay. So then, which means at that time, and this then refers to the time when I went to Jakarta, which is 2 years ago. So if I just say I was a student then, people will not understand the reference of the words that I use, which is then. So that's the idea of deixis. And these three general types of deixis are commonly found and discussed by people. But then there are some more, like discourse deixis, social deixis, that I would like you to search for later, and including those three that I have just explained a bit. I want you to look for them further later, and I'm going to be talking about that in the class. So that's all. Thank you for watching.